Hey, man. So a lot of people are this Dion saga,
It is a
along
saga now.
with
For sure.
HBCUs, has been dominating the headlines. So much so during the last month since he decided to go to Colorado. But I don't want to talk about that yet. I want to address a few people. First off, since we call ourselves the realest podcast in the
We
realest
are the realest
podcast in the world. We are the realest podcast in the world. We're gonna do something that none of the outlets did. No Sports Center, no ESPN, no Fox Sports, no nothing. Nobody congratulated North Carolina Central for winning the Celebration Bowl. Nobody. I watched all the highlights. I watched college football live, college game day night, where they said the Celebration Bowl. They only showed Jackson State highlights. I watched it on Sports Center. They only showed Jackson State highlights. I watched it on CBS Sports. I watched it on Fox Sports. The only place that they showed highlights from the Celebration Bowl to give North Carolina Central their props is HBCU Go. That's the only place, which is the new HBCU channel. This is this is the only place that offered any type of respect and congratulations to North Carolina Central, who beat Jackson State 41-34 in probably the most entertaining Celebration Bowl that we've had, and they've all been really entertaining. But this one in overtime, back and forth.
I don't care what football it is. This was excellent football. It was an excellent game. Went into overtime. They won in overtime. You could not have asked for a better game.
At all. You couldn't have asked for a better game at all. Let's get to some stats real quick, because I do want to do stats. I do want, because nobody talked about it. Jackson State, Shedeur Sanders played a hell of a game now. I mean, if you're going to go out, you got to go out. 30 of 40, 349 yards, 4 touchdowns. 9 carries. Eventually, he had -1 yards because North Carolina Central defense was just they were getting at him in the fourth quarter. But he did have a touchdown. But North Carolina Central,
he played well under pressure.
He did. But it goes back to what I say. He doesn't like to get hit. He was rattled. Davius,
No quarterback likes to be.
No more than Tom Brady. I mean, he's learning from him. Davius Richard was 15 of 20 for 175 yards and a touchdown, but he was also had 22 carries for 97 yards and 2 touchdowns. They ran the ball really, really well. North Carolina Central ran the ball for 276 yards and 4 touchdowns against the number 1 rated defense at HBCU football, the number 2 rated defense in FCS. You're right, Sneaky. Shedeur should have had 5 touchdowns. So, but we ain't talking about them right now. We talk about them all the time. We talking about Central. Central played really, really well. They had almost 500 yards of total offense against Jackson State's number 2 ranked vaunted defense. They found Jackson State's weak link in the secondary. I hate to say it because he's one of the ones that I do like, but Shiloh Sanders was getting abused the entire second half. They're just throwing the ball up to him whole game. And he was just pass interference. But Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and Shedeur Sanders proved to be box office. They tied Travis Hunter. They just put him in the game and said, "Go win it."
And he did it. And he did his part.
Man, so I thought A&T had the game sewn up in regulation, and on the last play of the game, I said A&T. Nope, Central, because he addressed that too. We'll talk about that too. Central had it sewn up, and Shedeur threw a fade to Travis Hunter with 0 seconds left on the clock to tie the game, and he caught it.
And he looked like a wide receiver.
Yep, and he dropped the pick 6 at the beginning of the game too. I was like, dang, he's like everywhere. He was everywhere the whole game.
Yeah, there is another discussion to be had about him.
Oh yeah. So I want to bring this up though. Apparently, there was a lot of disrespect. North Carolina Central felt like there was a lot of disrespect by Jackson State and by the media and
Yeah,
by the
absolutely.
AD.
They didn't get any of the love and respect that they deserved. They're a team
Oh,
that's been good all season.
let's get to specifics though. At the luncheon where you have the coaches and the ADs, Jackson State's AD continuously called North Carolina Central North Carolina A&T the entire time, even after they corrected him. Coach said that was disrespectful. When they pulled up to the dinner, Jackson State refused to move their buses so that North Carolina Central could pull up and get out. So they had to park down the street and walk to the dinner.
Yeah, that'll get you in trouble. That'll piss somebody off with it.
Once I heard that, I was like, ain't no way Jackson State winning. I don't care if they go to 7 overtime. North Carolina Central gonna try to kill y'all.
Why ask for that? Just play the game. Don't give them anything to want to beat you because of.
So, do you think that was on purpose? Well, I know the North Carolina A&T was on purpose because that's like calling Hampton Howard the whole time. Like if I correct you, you know what I mean, that you know me and I know you. If I'm gonna give you a pass, I'm gonna correct. Hey, chill out. You know that's not what it is. I even give you another hey. Now
I'm gonna give you 2.
That third one.
Nah, you're doing this on purpose now.
Now I'm upset.
You're disrespectful, so now I'm gonna be disrespectful in return.
So that happened. Also, there was a pregame scuffle where North Carolina Central was warming up, and Jackson State's players walked right through the drill. Said they were going to the locker room, but walked through the drill. Now, this isn't the first time they had pregame scuffle with Jackson State because Deion walked through a few Alabama State's stuff. That's why Eddie Robinson Jr. was upset. Alcorn State too.
And sometimes you just got to put your hands on.
And they did. They had that scuffle. They did for sure. So you add all of the drama with Deion, and the thing about the drama with Deion and why people are upset. I'm going to take this off the screen since we're not talking about Central. Shout out to Central again, 41-37 in overtime. The MEAC is 6-1 against the SWAC. Now I call the SWAC the Black SEC all the time.
Oh, well, have to find a new name.
Might have to start calling in the Black Big Ten because y'all have all this hype all year, and then y'all go play the MEAC and say, "Oh, you only a 5." I said it, only a 5-team conference. Y'all can't play nobody. Y'all done lost 5 in a row to them. And the only game that you won was against Central with Grambling when Central scored the game-winning touchdown or game-tying touchdown, but the player took his helmet off in the end zone, so they had to kick a 40-yard extra point and it got blocked. That was the only way that the MEAC won. Otherwise, it'd be 7-0. So, hey, Black Big Ten, SWAC, y'all better get it together because all that finesse that y'all do, spread offense and all of that, the MEAC just comes in and beats everybody up. That's all they did. South Carolina State just beat up Jackson State. And that's what we said every time Jackson State played. And I said it anyway. I said, if you hit Jackson State, they're not going to win. But you got to hit them. You can't just let them sit back there and score.
They're a team that can be kind of pushed around. I don't know if they're not the toughest team. I'll say that. I think that's the best way to put it.
They're a finesse team.